sure I got the right page. Let's start at number Lamed Vav. We're going to read in the Tiv, I think, because there's some arichos here, and we'll try to get the flavor. We did it yesterday, but let's do it again. And just look at the light print. Let's just look at the light print now. He says, well, maybe I'll read the whole thing. So they call them by the name of Mayim Rabim. We should call Elah Kolos Haim So Naher Pras Bina. Now, I'm not sure why we brought this in exactly yet, but Bina is called the Nahar, the river of Pras. So Kolu Arba Naharos, it has within it four, Kamosha Amr Chazal, Benachar Zeh Nechlalim Kol Hamayim Rabim Sheba Arba Naharos. So all of the Mayim Rabim. So Chaloshan Aina Mesudikol Kach. It's not right exactly right in order. V'ulam Kabanaseinu Lomar She'inyan Zecha Shebiyom Kippurim Gam HaNukva Nizonis Me'ima. So he says Gam HaNukva. Also the Nukva gets shefa from Ima. Nirma B'Pasag Makolos Mayim Rabim from that Pasag. Kitevis Kolos Romas the Bechinas Chamesh Kolos. So this is talking about the sounds that are coming out of your mouth. Which is in fact the five coals, what feeds the nukva on Yom Kippurim. Mayim Rabim, or why that phrase he says the aromas the ima should be benedim shacham akolos elo because she's the source of that mayim. V'chatam shemayim Rabim rose the ima. He mayim Rabim hein b'chinas nahar pras shehu kol arba chanaros. Now he said that before, so let's see what else he wants to say on this karm b'pasukim. Gemosha Mavur Inyan Zera Gemara. I like this explained on the Gemara. He says, "Shenahar Pras that level who Hamakor LeShlosha Hanaharos Yotze B'Menu Valkei Nikra Mayim Rabim." No, I'm a little confused, not confused, but just wondering what's shot over here in the three other rivers that come out of the Pras. There's a Hanahar Pras who B'Pechid Sabina Ima. That concept there is also that Shuhu Nar Pras. So this really Aden that's coming out from here is really coming to say the Shefa that's coming from Chochma is coming through Ima, coming down to us, Da Ima Ilor, coming down to the Nuk. Who Bechinas Ima. Bisham Yufare, then from that place it starts spreading out. V'hoya l'arba roshim ayin sham, so there's a lot over there. Haricha shebetevis mekolos, from that word, mekolos mayim rabim, that phrase nirmaz ha'idin shechachamesh kolos shebemekabelis ozam anukva. So those five different utterances. He said a biyom kippurim hu me'ima shehiba b'chinas mayim rabim. V'hine, he says, V'hine, chamesh pa'amim kol, to multiply the word kol, which is Gematria 136, hu b'gematria pras. So we find that so the metaphor here is a little elusive for me. He says that the river really, the concept of 5 times the word voice, to take the 5 voices, is the word pras, is Gematria. V'chein b'tevis pras ba'atzmo nirmaz inyan l'chamesh kol sheb'makab l'chamenukba me'ima b'yom kippurim. Because the 5 different times we say kol, gematria pras. So here we talk about the major flow. Bechinas ima chanikros nar pras. The horror shebebena mekabelas anukva as a shefa shachamesha kolos biyom kippurim. So the voice is the source of the shefa that the nukva receives on Yom Kippur. So it's only she by herself. Now, this contradicts what I've been trying to say, but that things move, that the Zoch and Nuk move in tandem. Over here, he says not like that. He says that it's only the Nuk, but it doesn't affect Zer Anpin. Very interesting. I still don't quite understand it. So now this question here. Is rock the nukva, so it's only going there. Im came Indian zera below shayik rock at's law. Shehi oilo v'yom zechot v'nizoyed bebechinas ramesh kolos de'ima. So she goes up by herself. And that she's fed by these 5 voices for the sons. Okay, we have a little interruption in here at an interesting place. So wait for Rebbe to come back. Here he comes. Okay. All right, so going back into this, he says, V'hamochin de'ibach rock the nukva, they only go to the nukva, not zeranpin. Im kein inyan zecha lo shayak rock atzla. Shehi oile b'yom zecha v'nizoyne b'bechinas chamesh kolos de'ima. So she goes up and she's able to receive those 5 kolos by herself. So this is not a case of, well, let's see, anyway, it's not the case, like, say, the dormita of zeranpin, which we see in many different places. Not talking about that exactly. Because he's not getting a shefa from there, he's not going up with her. So it's like a leapfrog thing, sounds like to me. Lo shaykh the Indian the tainus. So the tainus really is not shaykh to the male at all. Because really what the tainus is doing is allowing the kolos to feed the nukva. So therefore we shouldn't have to fast. He min aroish rock on the cave, so it's really fit that only the female aspect. Only female. So he said, so everything that happens from the nukva of Yona, and I'm not sure what he meant. He meant Bina. So how does it get to us? I guess that's what he's saying. He says it comes from the female aspect. The female aspect gives to us. So everything happens up above in Tzilus and Zeranpin. So this doesn't really, it didn't really fit this together. He says, so the keva feeds us, let's say like that. But what happens up above in Zeranpin, that also comes down at which is a male aspect. I guess that's all he wants to say. Going on a little bit more. So he said, with all of this, he says, so we have to also, just like the female aspect, to fast. So how does this work? It says, in other words, you can't get shava from zeranpin, and that shava has to go through the nukva to get to us. So he says, the kaven, so therefore, she's now up above in by Bina. So we have no ichila v'shtia. In other words, he said because there's no shefa coming in it, because the nukas gives the shefa, she's not in the same place. I guess it sounds like that. So therefore, so therefore we don't eat and drink because there's no way to get it to us. So let's see an explanation. If it helps me a little bit, even tarvins the af al pi came, even though gam zechar mitzuyim his uncles kamoch on the cable. So we have to lisanos rather. So we have to fast just like the female. The became should call the shevach hanimsha lana minazah magia aleno only derech anukva shehi hamalchus. So I'm trying to understand how this works. But it's not coming to us because Zeranpin is not feeding Malchus. Whatever's in Zeranpin, I guess, has to stay by Zeranpin. He also the malo the ima ve'ein shaykh etla ata ini dachila v'shdiach hagufnin l'chein gam anachnu. So also, she's no longer eating like that. She's the one that feeds us, and since she doesn't have the chef from Zeranpin, but she only has the sounds, the 5 sounds. Ascharim amakablim as a shefa shalanu darchab through her his anas kamosa. So we have to do that too. There's nothing coming to us. It sounds like in the one case she's fed by sounds, in the other case he's not fed at all. So since he's not being fed, so he has to fast. This seems to be what he said. I don't know if I'm right. The Indian Maimer Nizka the El Kol Oichel V'Sheisa. So this is really where we started. What happens on the ninth day? After Choizer Rav Zal the Boyer Mash Amar Achmenu Zal Kol Oichel V'Sheisa the Erev Yom Kippurim Ki Ilu Risana V'Tishi V'Siri. Asher Bezerah B'Mayim V'Pazav Rav Zal as a drasha because so let's talk about the 5 different kinds of restrictions. So that's the first thing, is to fix the nukva up. Because it has to be, first of all, she has to be set up in a way that hitzonius is together. So then after that, she'd be able to B'Yom Kippurim, I guess, B'Yom Kippurim, yeah. L'kacha sapanemius. Have to have a plea if you're going to receive that. Ma'acha shebe'arba shebe'Yom Kippurim mekabelos anukva shefa shalom be'panemius de'ima. V'al kain tzricha be'techilas of the be'techilas. The first thing she has to do, the hashnim and the sakin is a nukva, which is rachel. So then we had to put our chitzonis together. Where do you get shef for chitzonis? That's a general rule. So therefore we understand that this is what's going on over here. So he says like this, Sarga lahashlim tikni yisod the malchus shal nukvachu kenizka the erev bedrash and the sira. V'hidach gedei lahashlim tikun the gitzoni shal nukva. So how do you do this? Tzricha lahashlim be'erev yom kippurim hanasira b'sfiras yisod the malchus shabbat. So that has to be the 9th day. That has to be the day of the celebration of the complete, what's his word, of the nasira. Because every day you have one of the asaras who made tshuva, you have one of the spheres go. Because on the first day, he says Arisha, the Rosh Hashanah, the asis and the spheres of Kesser, and then it goes on like that in the spheres of Chochmah, of Yom Shlish, the spheres of Bina, of Yom Revi, the Das. He's going to go through the whole list. Let's go up to the top of the next column. Today, lahashlim and nasira, so that we're called as a sphere shalom. So it has to be like that, but you have to do 2 spheres on the last day. Tzrich la'asas b'noisif on the nasira shall spheres ahod. So you have to add on to this part I don't quite get yet. On the Sira shall spheres ahod. So we're talking about putting after the sphere. I guess is what it says. After counting the spheres ahod, he says then you have to do something with the other 2 that are left over. Spheres ahod l'shiach the erev Yom Kippurim. Oh, the spheres yisod malchus. So after you get to this point, you have to do both at the same time. And the mashlim and the satikah the kitzonius. So this is where you fix up the tikkun of the kitzonius. Shall the nukvah be called as a sphere shabbat. Because these 2 things both happen on the 9th day, Shuhu Erev Yom Kippur. Let's go down to Mem Dalet. Mem Dalet says, V'hine Yisod the Malchus Ha'elech B'Sher Bo, and in the Saktim El V'Sod the Kitzonius. So the only part of them that's really together is that you have the Kitzonius. Because that's the base thing that's going on over there. And that's it for today. So many of these things here.